Hello, eRank. Welcome to another eRank live Q&A with me, Pam Duthie, and stop making faces now, Starla. Her, Starla Moore.
It was doing the glitchy thing again where it was like wah, all over the
It
screen.
was just a blue screen for me. I'm sitting there going, is this even working? Okay, it's too late to deal with. Oh, that is a pain.
Stephanie,
Hopefully
let us
that's
know.
our
Was it
only...
glitchy for you?
Yeah. What did you all see in the startup? I love technology.
Oh, all right, guys. We've got 23 already on YouTube. I funneled some over from the Handmade Alpha Facebook community. So hopefully we can get some good questions today. If you're new here and this is your first time, welcome, welcome. We always make sure that we prioritize questions that were on our Wednesday post. If you're watching the replay and you're disappointed that you never get to make it live to these streams, but you still have questions that you want to be answered, make sure that you join the eRank group. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the video description, or you can just go to Facebook and type in eRank group. There's only one of them, so we're easy to find. But every Wednesday, there is a post that Pam pins to the very top of the group wall where you can submit your questions in a day early and make sure that they get answered. And then you can just watch us answer them during the replay. So it's a fun way for you to get to cut in line. And it looks like we have about, let's see, we've got 4 questions over there. So we'll go ahead and prioritize those. But you guys are fine to go ahead and get some questions into the YouTube or Facebook chat if you want. And we will get to those afterwards. Yeah, Debbie said I saw a flashing screen.
Oh, yeah.
Strobe
That's
party.
really weird. I saw nothing apart from, as I was just explaining to Starla, I get a kind of green room at the bottom of my screen showing the things I can put on the screen. So I got Starla going, either it's flashing or something very weird's going on.
It was our disco party, our pre-stream disco party.
That's it, absolutely.
All right. Our first question is from Manish. Manish. Oh, you're not here. I was going to say feel free to correct me, but you're not here to correct me. So feel free to correct me somewhere, sometime, someday. But he asked, what's best usage for print-on-demand mugs, doormats, and shirts? I'm interested in subscribing to eRank. There are so many uses. You can use the keyword tool. You can start with any of those words: mug, doormat, shirt, and type those words in, and then scroll down, and eRank will tell you what some really, really great related keywords are to use in your Etsy tags and titles. I personally love the newer eRank POD trends in the monthly trends report. If you go to the monthly trends page and Pam's got examples. If you go
I
to
did
the
something.
monthly trends page, there's a whole little column there specifically for POD trends. That's new-ish. I think we released that like 6 months ago, I believe. So a lot of people have missed it. But that's going to show you some of the top trends in, what are they, Pam? It's so tiny, I can't see it.
I just clicked it. Embroidery mugs. Let me go down and have a look again. Embroidery hoodies, mugs, phone cases, shirts, stickers, sweatshirts, and tote bags.
Yeah. So those are the most popular items. We actually asked Printify, who is now one of our cool eRank partners. I don't know if you guys knew that, so that's fun. But we actually asked them what their most popular products were, and that's what they told us that sells the best on their end. So that's really exciting, and that's a good indicator that if you make POD products, maybe those are things that you want to add to your store.
Yep. So we've got a whole load. Mugs are always a whole load. Mushroom mugs are still there. I love all this cottagecore stuff and dog mug, and yeah, you can see all of the trends going on. It's super cute. But as Starla describes way better than me, you can go in and dig at all the other trends. And what's the animals that are trending just now? I just read about them and then I forgot. But I think the axolot is doing, that's the one. I think they're doing quite well just now. So if you saw, like, if you jumped on at the time when sloth was just taking off and made a sloth mug, even if the words together, sloth and mug, weren't trending, people would start looking for that kind of thing, and you would be on the trend early. So if you see something that you could make into a mug or a whatever else, you can combine the two and say this is going to be big in print on demand.
Yeah, combined trends. I noticed that in paper and party supplies, Dungeons and Dragons were really popular. And Father's Day is coming up. And who likes Dungeons and Dragons? Men do, dads do. So you could go and look at Dungeons and Dragons trending in paper and party supplies. Now, you can't use the word Dungeons and Dragons because it's owned by Wizards of the Coast, but you could make a dragon shirt for dads. Dad dragon I was trying to combine the words dad and dragon and it just didn't come out right, but
It's
you guys,
still dragon, yeah.
yeah, it is it's still dragon, but you guys get the point, right? You can take trends from one area, apply them to what you do, because if Dungeons and Dragons are trending, then they're going to trend in everything. We really noticed that around when, like, Game of Thrones was out and House of the Dragon. You can't make products based on Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. You will get in trouble by HBO. But because dragons are suddenly interesting to people, people are more likely to search for dragon themed products. So, just you gotta kind of be creative with the trends.
Absolutely.
Aiden asked, I've enjoyed watching the past lives. Here's my question for this week. Do low sales velocity listings or no sales listings negatively impact the shop's market experience score or otherwise play a role in listing ranking? So basically, if she wants to know if she should cull out the underperforming listings in her shop, and would that be better for her shop as a whole?
Not to my knowledge. As we've said loads of times, most shops have a few items doing all the heavy lifting, and then have a load of listings that aren't doing too great. The From what I understand from Etsy, the main power on how you're going to rank is how your individual listing is doing for the individual keywords. So if one listing's doing well, it's going to rank regardless of if your other listings aren't doing quite so well. Basically, the ones that are underperforming won't rank well because Etsy has tested them and learned and said, oh, customers don't like that particular item, but it shouldn't hurt your whole shop. I'm sure we all have some dead listings in there. I definitely do.
Oh yeah, and you know what I've always said is that everything sells eventually. You know, if you leave it in your shop, it could sell. There's no telling when it'll sell, but you could try other things with those listings that aren't selling. You could try swapping out the thumbnails. You could try marketing them heavily on social media. There's a lot that you could do, but it's so typical for only a couple listings to pull the weight of your entire shop. And she said that, she's following that 80-20 rule. 20% of your listings bring back 80% of your sales and vice versa. Which that's about, I would say that it might even be less than
Good.
20%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the 80-20 rule sort of came out from marketing experts like many, many years ago. But what we've been seeing lately with all of those things, because you talk about like the wealth inequality and things, it used to be 80-20. It's more like the 0.1%. And that's quite quite the same for a lot of things. You'll see it's if you've got 20% of your listings are doing well, I'd say you're doing better than most people. Quite a lot of us have one or two listings that are doing well.
Yeah.
And then also, we might have listings that just do well every now and again. And that's another thing. Like, I really worry where people are focusing in and changing up listings every day or every month, or looking at things and going, oh, it didn't work in these past 2 months, I'm going to change it and change it and change it. Sometimes being lazy is kind of cool because they're not bad listings, they just haven't been seen by the right people. And yeah, in fact, my bestseller just now, I'd kind of planned it that way, but it took a year to really find its feet and suddenly take off. And if I'd have been sitting going, oh no, I've done something wrong, it's not right. But I was just like, no, Joe, leave it alone. It'll come into its own when the time's right for it.
Yeah, give everything a little bit of time, but don't be afraid to play around with those things that are underperforming, because maybe there's something wrong with them. You never know. So, that's a good use of your time, is tweaking those listings and trying to get them to perform. And, if they don't, then hey, that's okay if you have, as long as you have some listings in your shop that are selling. But really try to push them on social and see what you can do. Anna had asked, is it always bad to use single word tags? Here's an example. Say we want to exact match for a long tail keyword over 20 characters that's something like baby proofing cabinet making, random example. Does it send a stronger signal to Etsy if we use the separate tags baby proofing and cabinet making as opposed to trying to combine them with other words? Well, either way, you're not going to exact match because they're in different tags. So you would exact match for those terms because they are contained within their own little tags. It would be better to try to slip in another tag. It would have to be a short tag because those are long words, but you won't be able to get very many more characters. But I would definitely attempt. And you put the words baby proofing as one word and cabinet making like together without a space. Those technically would be separate words, so that would already exclude.
I think she's just making up
Yeah,
an
yeah.
example. I'm trying to think. I don't think I might be wrong, but a baby proofing cabinet making listing on Etsy is unlikely. So.
Yeah. But I would say that it would be better to try to, if you have the space, to try to slip in, an extra word, even if it's just gift. I'll toss in like mom in one and dad in another and gift in one, because hopefully I'll broad match for some weird baby proofing cabinet for mom. Because I mean, the words are in there. If somebody searches that weird combination, I will come up, but at least I've made an effort. It's just a missed opportunity if you don't. It's not necessarily bad, but you might be able to show up in a different search that you never thought of by getting some extra words in there.
Yeah, you're not going to get penalized. Like the Etsy algorithm isn't sitting going, Starla's got a one-word tag there. We're going to rank her 2 places further down than this other person. It just means there's less words that you can possibly like broad match for, like adding mom or something else. I will say though, if you're running out of ideas for keywords, I mean, if you've done all the mom, sister, aunt, all the everything you can think of, you don't have to cram in every single word that's in the dictionary. Get the thing listed and see what happens. Quite often, once it's run for a little while, you can maybe look at your stats and see what people were finding you for. Because at the beginning, Etsy kind of pushes you out to a little extra anyway. And you might see, oh, hang on, I hadn't thought of that word. So yeah, don't stress about getting your listings perfect. Get them listed.
Yeah. All right, let's see. We've got one more on our early post, and then I see we have a ton of YouTube comments. So thank you guys for being patient, since most of you joined after we had already gotten started. Just a heads up, if you want to cut the line on Wednesdays, get your questions in a day early. The eRank group on Facebook, we've got a post every Wednesday pinned to the very top of the group wall. You submit your questions, it allows you to cut in line. That way, if you can't be here live, you can still get your questions answered. But we've got one more of those, and then we will get to you guys who are patiently awaiting our responses over on YouTube. But Barbie asked, I'm in the process of moving and have had to suspend new orders. I am 99% made to order. I left a few available items on Etsy, but deactivated everything else. Do I run the risk of having the Etsy bots flip out when I reactivate everything at once? Maybe vacation mode would have been better. No, you're fine.
There are people who launch big ranges of things all at once who have a great following, like Starla did things like that. There's nothing that the algorithm's going to say, oh, that's terrible. I mean, if you had some things that had words in them that were going to get flagged by an algorithm or something, then it will get flagged. But you shouldn't have, we've been talking about that kind of thing recently. I think Starla just had a video on that a couple of weeks ago. But otherwise, there's no algorithm that says, oh, so-and-so listed 10 listings in a day. That's suspicious, because it's not. It's normal behavior.
Right. Anthony's in the chat, which I just noticed, and he's not a chat moderator, which is kind of weird. Oh. We run this channel. The CEO is just a commenter watching. Are you still here, Anthony? Hopefully he didn't hear that. Starla, you're fired.
I know, guys, we've better behave now. None of that stuff that we usually do. Boss is in the house.
All right, let's see. Esther over on YouTube asked, can eRank help you with finding out popular themes? For example, baby shower themes or birthday theme? Yeah, go into the trend reports that we showed a little bit ago. You were here for that. There's a paper and party supplies niche. You could also type in things like if you wanted to think of a baby shower theme, just type baby shower into the keyword tool and scroll down to the keyword suggestions. And there are a lot of different ideas that maybe you find out that elephant baby showers are really popular. So you create a whole line of elephant baby shower themed products. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's about using all these tools like with a bit of common sense in it. So like Starla says, you don't search for necessarily baby shower theme and eRank will just go, we think this is what you should make. Because then everybody would be doing that and then it wouldn't be the good thing. But if you search for baby shower, baby, and look at all the other trends, like we said, for that strange lizard fish thing that I'm not sure what it is, but if you see that,
Axolotl.
thank you. If you see that's big, you might think, hey, baby shower with these things might be cool, or just just keep an eye on the trends.
Anthony is here. He said, uh-oh.
Oh, if you don't see us next week, you'll know why, guys.
So here's a great question and something that Pam might want to show off super duper quick because we do have a lot of questions. But Susie Q Gift said, what are your thoughts of the Etsy GPT Chrome extension? We actually might already be making one for eRank that will
Yep.
hopefully tickle your fancy because,
Give me 2
well,
minutes while I find the link.
yeah. So but yeah, basically we've got a beta test open right now. If you go to your eRank account while you're logged in and you click on the little blue circle in the bottom right hand corner, you can just message us directly through that button and say, hey, I want to beta test the new AI tool. And we can get you set up with that so you can start checking it out. Now, there is one condition. A lot of people signed up for that, but they haven't actually been giving their feedback, which is the point of beta testing, is that
Yep.
you say, hey, I like this. Hey, wait, this would be better if you did this. Hey, this wasn't working. So if you want to take it on a test run, yeah, shoot us a message and let us know. We'll get you signed up. But go ahead, Pam.
Yeah, does that actually show? Can I make these things bigger?
You
Hang
can
on.
get rid of me if you need to.
Oh, we can't get rid of you. Is that any better? Ooh.
Anthony said, you can tell them, Starla. I already planned to, Anthony. I already did it before you told me I could. So it's good that.
Look, Anthony, we've learned from the best. It's always better to ask forgiveness than permission.
All right, let's take it on a spin. What'd you type in?
Yeah, so
Mushroom.
I've put mushroom mug because that just came up a minute ago. So as we say, this is in beta, so we need to know what you think of this and what you need on it. It doesn't have access to any of our keyword data. It's just a tool to sort of help you. I think Anthony explained it best as you've got that brand new listing that's absolutely white page and you don't know what to write on it, so it'll help you out. So you put in your superstar keyword, some phrases, describe your item a little bit, and then it comes up with some title ideas. So I put in mushroom mug. We've got adorable mushroom mug for nature lovers, or whimsical mushroom mug for tea time. So it gives you some cool ideas. And then it, just out of me saying it's a mushroom mug, has given us an idea for a description. Definitely will warn you with any of these chat GPT type things. You've always got to check them. It's not seen your mug, it doesn't understand your style. So it can help you out with a start, but then you've got to like totally work on it, basically. But it's definitely a start. I mean, that's pretty cool. Gives you some ideas, and then you can go and rewrite it for yourself. And then we've got some tag ideas, keyword ideas. Again, this is not connected. This is not connected to our data. So you would have to look at this and go, oh, is woodland charm any good as a keyword? And then go and look it up and stuff. But it just gives you some ideas of words, phrases that might work with that kind of an item. So it's a help, it's a start, but let us know what you want us to make it do, basically.
Anna had said, I like the listing tool, but it's very similar to Chat GPT results. Well, because it's OpenAI. OpenAI is OpenAI, which means that what we have is utilizing OpenAI. But there is a benefit here, because when you usually log on, to start using Chat GPT, you're in this queue. If you get on when everybody's busy, you can't even access it. It gets clogged up. A lot of people have to use it at night. And as of right now, I haven't had any issues even trying to access it at peak times using our handy dandy eRank version. So
Absolutely.
just, yeah. But
It's
nice
it's
to know.
handy. It's quick. Remember, every time you put the same words in, it's going to come up with different results. That's the magic of these things. But what do you want it to do differently? Tell us.
Mhm.
That's why you're beta testing it just now. The guys super quickly got together this thing, which is an awesome tool, but it doesn't do what any of us want it to do. We want more. So if you all hit that little blue button on the bottom right, and in fact, I can actually do that, can I?
Yeah, show them
So
where it is.
this,
That little
so
blue button, see that?
this button here, hit this, and then you can message, and here we, because I'm a beta tester, here it goes. Thank you for offering to be a beta tester from Anthony. But then, yeah, you can message the team, say what you want us to do with this tool. That's the whole idea. Just now, it's good, it's cute, it's a bit of fun. Test it, tell us what you want us to do. Yeah, want us to do with it.
All right. And Anna, you're putting good suggestions into the chat. Be sure to message them though, so they get to the right department, because we are not it. We are the incorrect department, but message it. That way it goes to the correct. We have departments now. Isn't that weird?
How are we going to do departments though? Do we all have to drink out of separate mugs, or have we put up like little barriers around us to say we're in our cubicle because we're in this department?
Yes, because somebody literally just asked if we've ever met in real life.
No, just through this screen, just
Our
here.
mailbox, just our boxes. All right. Mom is a noob. Me too. Hey guys, I just started out on Etsy a couple weeks ago. Does eRank show any stats on broad matches? I've been loving watching your videos, Starla, by the way. To clarify, the broad matches that come from the long tails. No, but you can look at them yourself. So if, for example, if you saw a keyword like beige boho rug, you could trim that down on your own. Just search, beige by itself, boho by itself, rug by itself, boho, rug. You can put them in any combination. In fact, if you really wanted to, you could go into the compare keywords tool and just take whatever your long tail keyword is and then cut it up and shuffle it in every possible combination. And then you can just do a side-by-side comparison of them all.
Absolutely. And the best thing to do when you're using things like the keyword tool is not to put your long tail keyword in, but take one of your little chunks from it. Take, if you're, I can't even think of it. My brain is fried today. I can't think of some kind of crazy long tail keyword. But whatever your crazy long tail keyword is, look at what the main bit of that is. If it's a gold necklace or something, type gold necklace into the keyword tool and have a look at all the different things that work for that, rather than type in a long thing that nobody's looking for, basically. Oh, Starla's freezing. Oh, she's back.
Oh,
Yeah.
am I? Anthony's down here taking notes. He said, better broad matching is a good idea. We're working on that. Awesome. And Anthony, here's another suggestion, because Jennifer had asked, can we separate digital from physical items when looking at top sellers? I'm a handmade shop, and when doing research, there's so many digital shops only. That's also a very good idea.
Yeah, today is the time to put these in. If Anthony's in the mood to add to tools and sitting writing things down, just I don't know, because like some of the team who have to create these will probably be sitting listening to this and go, "Shush, stop it!"
No more. No, it's job security, right?
Absolutely.
Facebook user, who is Steve over on Facebook, he said, Oftentimes I see a search term defined as hot, but when I look to investigate further, looking at daily views of items using Analyze, I don't actually see a lot of traffic for that term. Is this a difference between real time and average search? How do you suggest I track these hot search terms down? The hot button is just items or keywords that we've noticed were especially hot yesterday. So if we notice that something is kind of taking a sudden spike up, that might be something to take note of. Though, I do the same thing that you just talked about. I usually take that term and click on it. That way the keyword tool opens. I can look at it a little bit further. I can see if there's any other suggested terms related to that, to try to really, really dial down on what about that term made it hot yesterday, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, that's it. The averages, especially because our keyword tools, the monthly is telling you what happened last month, obviously. So something could be blowing up right now. That's why we've got the hot thing to show you what's really happening just now. But the average of the past, what is it, 15 months? It might be low because something is just trending at the minute. Depending on how quickly your turnaround and everything is and how expensive your items are to make, I would then look at the weekly trends to see if it was hitting the weekly trends, and also come back tomorrow and come back the next day and see if it's still hot. And if you're seeing it's still hot for a few days, then maybe it's not just a one-off spike and you could think about making something. I mean, if your items are digital and it's going to take you an hour to draw something, maybe go ahead. If you are making gold jewelry that's going to cost you thousands to make, maybe hold off and make sure it's a real term.
Yeah, definitely. Because you never know. It could just be something weird that happened, like Bernie Sanders mittens a few years ago. They were
Exactly.
they were popular for like a month, and then nobody cares about Bernie Sanders mittens anymore. All right, never give up. Hey, thanks. Hey, you two are cute. Cool glasses and hair. Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Let me know how its algorithm works. Well, I assume you mean Etsy. If you go to Google and type in how Etsy search works, Etsy actually has a huge, really helpful article that covers how their algorithm, as far as they're willing to tell us, works. They can't tell us everything because obviously if they exploited how their algorithm or explained how their algorithm worked, people would exploit it, and you know that's never good, and then we wouldn't have equal opportunities. But that article is very helpful, so check that one out.
Yep, it's the ultimate guide to Etsy search,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic. Yeah, it gives you all well, not all the things, but it gives you a good idea of the things that Etsy look for, and it's well worth reading it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pop it into the chat. Just look for Starla
Cool.
Moore in the chat. That it's funny. I typed in a couple. I typed in how Etsy, and that was the first thing that popped up because I feel like I've done
Search
this
for that,
many
yeah.
times.
I type in the word ultimate and I get the ultimate guide every time because it's the Etsy Bible. It really is that good.
It is, and
Um,
people don't want information from the horse's mouth, but let me tell you, the horse's mouth is the best place to get your information.
yep.
Yeah.
Um, you can also just in this YouTube channel, we've just started doing some videos on that. So you probably want to start with what is Etsy SEO. But the details I'm giving you are reworked examples basically from that article because
Yep.
that's what it is. The algorithm is quite simple. You tell the algorithm what your item is. You found the keywords using the eRank's keyword tools that people are searching for. You tell Etsy that you think your item's relevant for that by putting it in your title and tags. And then Etsy looks at that, compares you to other listings, shows you out to some customers, and if customers see you and search for that, click on it and buy it, then Etsy shows you even more. That's kind of the algorithm in 30 seconds.
Yep. But if you want the more complicated Etsy version with all of the little factors that they're looking at, check it out because
Yeah,
it is going to tell you everything that you could possibly need to know. Everything else is not stuff that you need to know because that's Etsy's private stuff that they don't even share with us.
yeah. And we've got what? We've got 58 people in here. Every single one of you should be reading that article
Oh
If you
yeah.
haven't already read it, you definitely need to read it. If you have read it, they do update it every now and again, so keep an eye on it.
All right. Vilius, is that your name? If I have the same item, which is a bestseller for other sellers, how can I beat that and get more visits and sales? So they're making something similar to other sellers, and those sellers are selling the thing, but they want to beat out those sellers. So part of the talk that we just had about the algorithm is that when Etsy sees that something is doing well and selling, they're more likely to show it more people or to more people by ranking it higher in search. They know that that thing is making money both for them and for you, so they're going to show it to more people. So I often have people say, well, in theory, if I took my competitor and use their exact title and their exact tags and their exact description and attributes and photos, I should rank right next to them. That's not how it works. You don't have the same listing quality because you don't have a sales history. You haven't sold that listing. People haven't interacted with it. People haven't left positive reviews on it. Etsy is more likely to recommend the thing that they know is doing well. So if you have a similar item that you want to sell and you've seen other people have success with it, you need to ask yourself, how can I make my item better? How can I sell this better than they are selling it? How can I make my photos better? How can I make my, it maybe you create, I don't know, you create a digital art print. Are your thumbnails more attractive than them? Because obviously that's the thing in search. People are going to click the thumbnail. Is your pricing, ridiculously lower or ridiculously higher than your competitors, because both of those things can hurt you. If your competitors are all priced very high and yours is priced low, people might look at yours and say, oh, that's junk, I don't want that's the junky one, I want the more expensive one. And vice versa. If you're selling a digital art print and it's just a digital download and you're selling it for $50, somebody might say, well, that's outrageous, I'm not paying that when I could buy it from this guy for $10. So yeah, it's really just about putting in that work to make sure that you're creating a product that is better than what your competitors are offering and give people a reason to buy yours. Why should I pick you over the guy over here? So you have to be able to answer that question for yourself.
Yeah. Couple of quick quick things, but Starla's absolutely right. Make better items.
Mhm.
If you have a huge following somewhere, then drive that huge following. If someone's a superstar TikToker and decides to make something and they send their audience over to go and look at it, then they'll beat that person with a top seller. But the other thing is what you can use your competition for, rather than say, I want to rank in the exact same place as them and do better than them. Look at what they're not doing. Say they make some kind of face scrubby cloth, and in the reviews, people say, I love that face scrubby cloth, but I wish it was organic. Can I make that organic? Make what they're not making. And also don't necessarily go straight in and say, I want to rank for these keywords that they're ranking for. Say, okay, I'm not Tom Cruise, I'm not Jason Momoa, I'm not the big guy in the scene. I've got to start a little lower down. I've got to aim for smaller movies or smaller keywords. I've got to get seen, get known for these. And what can happen if you aim for those smaller keywords? You can build up and rank for higher ones over time. I had that just before Christmas, actually. What was it? I had an item that got seen for dog bookmark and started to get sales for that. And that's not a very competitive keyword. Most people would look at that and go, that's an easy keyword. But as I started to get sales for that, then I started to rank for other terms. Etsy went, oh, hang on. Is she good for a corgi bookmark? She is. Oh, hang on. How about just the term corgi? But if I'd have just started saying, I want to rank for corgi because people are searching for corgis right now, I'd have had no chance. So you
Yeah.
you kind of work your way up the ladder there.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience, and I know that that's hard. And mom is a noob. This kind of plays into that. I know it takes a while, but how long does it generally take for a shop to gain ground and get a decent amount of sales rolling in? So here's the thing. Imagine that I am a master photographer of dung beetles, the ones that roll the big ball of poop. I'm a master photographer. I specialize in photographing dung beetles, right? I am the best one in the world. I dedicate all my time into it. I have perfected the art. of capturing dung beetles in the perfect position, poop, you're rolling their little ball of poop. That's my whole world, right? And I list all of my products on Etsy, and they're the very best that they can be. There still has to be a human out there who wants my product. So in order to answer the question, how long does it take? We are subtracting the human out of that and assuming that there is some mathematical reason or time frame that humans are, that it's going to result in a sale. There are too many factors that you have to rely on in order to make a sale, but humans are the number one factor because that is who is buying your product. Where do you reach humans? Well, you can reach them on Etsy with SEO. You have to have great photos that appeal to humans. You have to have, great pricing that aligns with humans' bank accounts. But another good place to reach humans is social media because it's social. You can't have social without people. So going on social media, creating a little brand for yourself, engaging with people, because remember, it's social media, not marketing media, finding people to follow who look like your target ideal customer, and really trying to drive some of that traffic yourself, that can help speed up the process. But there's no way to say how long it takes because I've seen sellers who start their shops and they, get 100 sales within like their first month of opening because they jumped on some very unique trend. I have sellers in my own community who have been trying to sell on Etsy for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and they've got like 3 sales. So it's not about consistency, though that can help. It's about consistency across the board and being human and improving every step of the way and never saying, I'm done. I did everything. When do my sales come? I did everything because there is no being done. You are never done. There is always something to learn. There's always something to do. There's always something to market. There's always a way to get your product out there. And people who just want to be done, they just probably shouldn't have businesses.
Yeah. The thing to ask yourself that I think most people aren't honest about is what's your kind of superpower there? Because as Etsy sellers, there's so many things that can get us more likely to get sales. Firstly, is your item really fantastic? If you're an amazing artist, that's a superpower. Do you understand marketing? Are you a great marketer? That's something else that can do really good. Are you a fantastic photographer? Can you style your items really well? Have you got great contacts? There's so many things. So you make it easier and more likely to be quicker to get success if you've got one or more of these superpowers. But if you don't have them, like Starla said, it's getting better, saying, what am I not good at? But I could get gooder at, could get better at. Most of us, I bet you that's photography, the photographing your items, because that's such a good one. Like people ignore that. And it's not as difficult as it feels, and it puts you way ahead of people. But also learning about social media marketing, how to deal with people being social, because so many people go on, join up 200 groups on Facebook and spend every day spamming their links to those 200 groups. Yeah, Starla seems to think that's not a good idea. Yeah, no.
When has that ever worked? Who does that work for?
Yeah, I don't think that ever did work, even in the Wild West days of Facebook and the things that came before it.
Yeah. Prioritize my order of importance are number 1, photos. If you don't have good photos, I don't care how good your SEO is because your stuff isn't going to sell. So good photos. And in fact, I'm going to drop in the chat a link to Christina Nicole. She is in the chat right now as well, but she is a phenomenal product photography coach. I was recently recommending a 5-day program that she has going on right now. It's closed now, but she does have a course that is opening this week, tomorrow. It's opening tomorrow. Oh, well, I went ahead and put her link down there, but she has a ton of free videos that can help you with your product photography. So there's one. Second thing, after you've got product photography nailed down, SEO. SEO is your second thing. That's, you gotta have, people have to be able to find you. They don't know you exist if they can't find you. So it doesn't matter if you've got your good photos. If they can't find you, then you don't exist. And then after that, I would say that, your social media presence is your third thing to focus on, because really your social media presence is that extra little bit of traffic. When Etsy is slow, like spring and summer is very slow on Etsy, at least you can funnel a little bit of traffic to yourself. So photos, SEO, and then social media.
Absolutely. And like Starla says, you're always learning. Don't be thinking, oh, I've got to sit here and learn about photography till it's perfect. Improve your do something, look into it, improve your photography a little bit, sit back and then move on and go, I'm going to learn a little bit about SEO today, because each of these is huge topics. You don't have to be perfect at them. Just keep on figuring out something and making it a little bit better. And then that snowball effect, eventually it'll start paying off.
Yeah. All right. So we are down to our last 20 minutes and we have a butt ton of questions left. So
thank you.
Since we've got 20 minutes now, we're going to really try to speed run. But we might end up losing the last few. So we're going to do our best. Okay. Mabel the Woodle. My Etsy shop is 5 months old and I just joined eRank a few weeks ago. Lately, I have some spotted on Etsy. Yay. What, if anything, should I do to use that to my advantage for future or dead listings?
Yeah. Okay. Spotted on Etsy. Have a video coming out on that on this channel on Tuesday. But basically, firstly, the things you're being spotted for, just make sure they're decent keywords, because the way Spotted on Etsy works, it's searching for all the terms we have in our database, and sometimes people have put in terms that nobody's searching for. So make sure it's good keywords. I tend to advise going in and your superstar keywords that are driving the traffic to your shop, put them on Spotted on Etsy. And then every day, every couple of days, you can just click on that, look at the graph and go, oh yeah, nothing's tanking. That's good. Move on. And literally, that's about it. The only other thing I do from that is I will look at the other keywords. Then this is the other keywords we have in our database to look at what you're getting spotted for that you might not have thought of, and look if any of them are any good, relevant, might give you ideas for other listings to make. But I love Spotted on Etsy, but it shouldn't take you more than like 2 minutes to use.
No, it's more of just something to glance at.
Yep.
All right, Valerie had asked how to get the traffic stats to work. I followed your YouTube video and it's working on Google Analytics, but when I'm on eRank Home, there's no setup option. It just shows a gray bar, no data display. I will say that Google Analytics, you cannot set up new analytics properties anymore. That is gone until Etsy decides to integrate with Google Analytics 4. Feel free to bug them on Twitter and LinkedIn. It's the best place to request it.
Contact you guys.
Yeah, bug them because we need this back. But Valerie, it's only going to work till July, unfortunately, unless Etsy updates. So feel free to hit our little blue, button down in the bottom right corner of your screen to report, that it's not working for you, so our team can look into it. That's if you guys have any issues with eRank, don't tell us here. Click that little blue button because that will ensure that our support gals are able to help you.
Yep. Sadly, we can't do much about it. I don't know about Starla, but when I get off here, my brain is mush and I can't remember what we talked about for an hour.
Oh yeah. Never Give Up said, why does Etsy use the term handmade? Well, Etsy's slogan is and has been for a long time, shop for handmade, custom, and unique gifts. That has been their whole thing. Handmade, custom, unique. Etsy allows you to sell handmade, digital, and vintage, print on demand. Is that it?
Supplies
Supplies.
and yeah,
And that's it.
party things, but yeah, that's supplies too. Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, people break the rules, just like, just like there are people who speed and people who do drugs and people who do all kinds of things that they shouldn't do. Doesn't mean that it's allowed though. So just make sure that you're doing the right thing, because when Etsy shuts you down, they usually permanently ban you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Etsy's supposed to be handmade. It is handmade. Most of us here we have some wonderful artists, and yeah, we want them all to be seen.
Yes. Mom is a noob said, I know I'm asking a lot of questions. That's okay.
Go ahead.
I'm noticing vastly different stats on views for my posts on Etsy versus eRank versus even different views on Etsy, stats versus listings 1 minute to the next. Why? Well, a lot of that is bots, which Etsy filters out every 24 hours, which is why occasionally from day to day, your views and things will be inconsistent. Do we have an answer for the eRank one? Because
There's a couple of things it could be is the difference between views and visits, because
Mhm.
these are two different metrics that Etsy counts differently. eRank gets its data from Etsy, but it's the API. And just check if you're looking at views on one and visits on the other, they'll be different. And check that you're looking at the same time period. It's very easy to have your data set to a slightly different time period. But if you feel something is really up, hit that little blue button and tell the team, ask the team to look into it,
Yeah.
because there could be some inconsistencies, and then that'll give Anthony an excuse to go and shout at Etsy.
Yeah. All right. Is your name Rachel Clark? Is it Rachel? Because there's a Q in it, and my brain says that your name isn't Rachel, but yell at me if it's not Rachel.
Raquel?
Raquel, is that your name? I don't know why my brain is like Rachel. Let us know. I make polymer clay charms. The colors are inspired by stone, so each charm is slightly different. Would it be better to make individual listings for each, or state pattern and color choices will vary? If as long as they're the same color, like you've got a listing for purple ones and they're just slightly different, I would put, due to the unique nature of my handmade products, or due to the unique nature of polymer clay, every product will be unique and different, ensuring that you have a one of a kind piece. Spell it out as a benefit. Now, if you're offering different colors, I would say list them separately, because that's more keyword opportunities to be found. You can, cast a larger net. But
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Make it a feature if they are similar enough. But
yes.
yeah, definitely, you don't want to be doing a sort of lucky dip where someone sees a picture of something with a pink stone in it and you send them out something with a green stone.
Raquel. Got it. Now I feel really dumb. Raquel.
Look, I don't even say Etsy right, so no one can say anything there.
Okay, second part. Statistically, is it better to broad match or exact match? Exact match. Etsy loves it. I mean, broad matches are fine. They're good and well. But exact matches are the strongest types of matches. Those are the ones you really want.
Yep. The advice from Etsy and what we've been saying forever: pick yourself 2 to 4 superstar keywords for your listing and do your very best to exact match for them. Broad matches are for like the end of your tags when you're going, oh, it could be gift for mum, aunt, sister, dog, whatever. But yeah, if you can, for your most important ones, try and exact match.
Yeah. All right, Carla, this is the question right here. There are so many tools out there. I'm pretty sure I bought them all except eRank, and there is a recommendation for only using a subscription to one or two. I end up using one aspect of each. With so many tools out there, what's a recommendation for one or two subscriptors for SEO and competitor research? Obviously, you're going to see eRank, but what else? We do all that. I don't see any reason to need more than one. And I'm not just saying that because we work for eRank. eRank is, for one, it's the cheapest still, I believe. I think that our basic plan is still cheaper than everybody
Well,
else's
our
plan.
free plan's the cheapest.
Our free plan is the cheapest, yes. We have more tools than anybody else does. We're the most popular for a reason. We are literally the biggest and most used Etsy SEO tool. We work, on making sure that we communicate with Etsy when we do something, to make sure that everything that we do is agreeable with them. We source all of our data from ethical sources. There's no like skimming people without their permission to get their data. Everything, is ethically sourced. If it's not coming directly from Etsy's API, which several of our tools do, you get awesome support. You get the eRank Facebook group. You get us here. And I mean, it works. We wouldn't be the biggest Etsy SEO company in the world if it didn't work. And I dare say that we probably have more data than any of the other ones, just because we're so big, because data is expensive.
And you've got the other huge advantage, like we've just seen Anthony sitting here taking notes for what he's going to do. If you want, if you can't find eRank doing something, ask us. Now, don't ask us to copy this other tool. That's not ethical, and we don't want to copy people. But just say, I would like to be able to learn about this. I'd like to understand this. What kind of tool can do that kind of thing? And Anthony will disappear with a light bulb over his head and go, let's do that. And everybody in the team behind the scenes will be sitting with their head in their hands going, here we go again.
That was our AI tool. I messaged Anthony and I was like, hey, wouldn't this be cool? And he's like, that would be cool. And then like 2 days later, he's like, we did it.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason eRank is so big is because Anthony's brain works like that. So let us know what kind of things you like to do. Not everything's possible, but if it is possible, then definitely we look into that. Yeah, which is best? Well, I it's easier to stick to one tool, but you don't have to. If you find other tools useful, I have a million tools for YouTube because I do different things out of each of them. But not just because I work for eRank. Before I worked for eRank, I used some tools in the deep, dark past. They shut down. I found eRank. I didn't use any other tools. That's the only reason I don't talk about other tools, because I don't use them.
Yeah. I mean, eRank really, we have so much. We have everything. And anytime we get a great idea from you guys, and I'm sure some of them are based on things that you've seen others have, we don't ever copy anybody, but if somebody messages us and says, hey, we wish you had this, we're like, cool, we'll try to make that. If it's possible, Anthony will probably put it on our to-do list. So
Yeah.
let's see. Oh man, I'm gonna mispronounce your name so bad. Abhishek, please tell me how badly I just butchered your name. Do we need to add the same keywords in title and tags? Yeah, because in your title, you don't have a lot of character space to begin with in your title or your tags. But with your title, you want to put your most important keywords, right? You want to put what you want to be known for. What is your listing? And obviously you want to make sure you're doing your keyword research to make sure that you're using terms that people are actually searching for. The way that I explain it is everything that's in your title, put it in your tags. Not everything in your tags needs to go in your title, because you have way more tag space than you have title space. So that's how I've always explained it.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And that's the hierarchy as well. Title is the most important, tags are there to back it up.
Yeah.
And then everything else is least important after those two, basically.
Yeah. All right, we've got 5 more minutes. Let's see if we can power through our last ones. Mallory had said, I have a spotted on Etsy listing for stuffed teddy bear. This listing has been dead for months. Do I tweak it? I tweak the thumbnail first.
Yeah, I'm sure people are looking for teddy bears. I'd have a look at the keyword tool and everything and see what's happening. And when you say dead for months, do you mean since Christmas, or was it dead before Christmas? If you've got that's a really giftable item. So if that was dead before Christmas, something's really wrong, sort it out. If it's been dead since, things are quiet just now. That's the truth of it. I experiment with other things as well, and yeah, look at your photographs. But as people are buying teddy bears, I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, and we had a similar question. I've plenty of Etsy's picks on my shop, but not all of them have good SEO. Should I tweak them? To be perfectly honest, I don't know what the Etsy's pick badge, what they use to assign that, as with all of Etsy's badges, other than the obvious ones like free shipping. I really don't know what they use to factor those. I would say, are they selling, or are they getting any visibility? Are you getting any views for them? Because likely if you tweak it, I mean, there is a big risk that you're going to lose that badge. But if you're not selling the listing anyway, does it really matter? Doesn't really matter if people aren't seeing it. So before you touch your SEO, swap out your thumbnail. Try, maybe it's the photo, the particular photo that you're using. And the photo that you're using now, it might be great. It just might not be what gets clicks. Customers work in really mysterious ways. So,
Oh yeah. But I would say as well, when you say it doesn't have good SEO. If it's working, it has good enough SEO. Like you could have a listing that's doing really great and you look and you go, oh, I've only got 12 tags and I've got some one word keywords. Doesn't matter. You've got good enough SEO. But people like to overcomplicate SEO. There's all these best practices, but it is most important keywords in your title and tags. That's it. Pretty much, everything else, like photos and things aren't for direct SEO. They're for customers to go, I can see what your item is and I love it. So photos are important. But yeah, you're saying you don't have good SEO. It might be good enough. So if it's working, leave it.
Yeah. Anna over on Facebook had said it'd be amazing to get more specific trend data for digital products and printables, if that's possible. Many of us use the paper and party supplies category, as in for the trend buzz and monthly trends. Hit that support button in the bottom right hand corner. That way, our support gals can make sure that that gets to the correct people who will send your request to the correct people.
Yep. That's that. Anthony's always improving that tool based on the feedback. With what we can do, the problem is like it depends how big these kind of categories are because people are asking for it to be broken down into their tiny little category that there's only 4 people involved in, which is not but so we can't go too into the weeds with that. You then have to start using the keyword tool and stuff. But if it's possible and it looks like it's big enough to be useful to people, then I'm sure they'll look into it.
Yeah. And Samantha,
I
we
was
love
just going to
Samantha.
pull that up too.
I trust the eRank tool and Pam and Starla, the handmade alphas, as I went from 150 orders a year to almost 3,000 orders a year. We love you, Samantha.
Fantastic. Well done. That is so good.
Let's see. All right, we've got one more and we've got 2 minutes, so I think we can pull it off. Carla had asked, I do A/B testing for many things, but I wanted to try it for free shipping or with shipping. Will this negatively affect my listing? Nope.
Not at all.
That was an easy question to answer.
Yeah, I've played around with it. The free shipping only even impacts your ranking. Etsy tells us it's on the app for people in the USA, for customers in the USA. That's the only place it makes a difference. Any change you with A/B testing, any change you make, unless you're taking out keywords and things, but all these changes, if it's to do with things like free shipping, that is likely to impact how customers interact with your listing. So the changes will happen over time. But A/B testing is awesome. It's a really good idea. People should look at doing it.
All right. Guys, we landed at 3:59 p.m. Eastern, which is exactly where we're supposed to end. So thanks so much for watching. If you're over on YouTube right now, make sure that you join the eRank Facebook group, either down in the description below the video, or if you just go to Facebook, type in eRank group, or easy to find. Join that. And then if you're ever not available to watch these live and you still have a question that you want us to answer, every Wednesday, Pam makes a post in the group that she pins right to the top of the group wall. You can put your question in the comments on that post, and we always answer those first. That way, if you can't make it, you can still get your question answered and cut the line. But guys, thanks so much for hanging out, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, thank you so